So a few days ago, Our Myth Per did a video on an article that Dan Savage did on October 21st. A woman wrote in saying that she's in an open relationship with her husband. One of her partners raped her, and now her husband is acting like super needy and is jealous of her because she's having sex with her boyfriend who she feels safe with, but whenever she has sex with him, she's triggered and is reminded of the rape, and for some reason whatever he's doing or is reminding her of that experience. And so she wrote in saying, she cares about her husband but she cares about her boyfriend. What should she do? And Dan Savage wrote back. First, he starts with the obligatory, oh, I'm sorry for your sexual assault, but he refers to the woman as PTSD, which stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm sorry that you were sexually assaulted. That's awful, PTSD. And I hope you went to the police, and I hope you're pressing charges. But I also hope you know that being a victim of sexual assault is not a get out of being a human being free card. So first he starts out telling, giving her the lip service of, oh yeah, oh, it's really tragic that you were assaulted by a partner, someone you trusted and you cared about, and someone who fundamentally betrayed you and fucking destroyed you and just used your body as a cum dumpster. But I hope you know that that's not a get out of being a human being free card. Excuse me, what the fuck? What the fuck does that even mean? Number one. And then he goes on. Just because you've been victimized doesn't mean you operate in an alternative moral universe where you're not obligated to take other people's feelings into consideration, particularly the feelings of people you profess to love and happen to be married to. So, her dealing with her rape, this happened 6 months ago, she said in her original letter, that her trying to deal with the issues of her rape should somehow be put on the back burner, and that she should not be thinking of herself at this time. She needs to be thinking of her husband's feelings over her own, even though her husband triggers her. And for those who don't know what a trigger is, it's something that causes you to relive the event. And I'm sorry, 6 months is not a long time. And would you say this kind of thing to someone who's come back from Iraq who has PTSD? Only in this culture are we expected to tell women, oh, get over it. Move on. You don't fucking get over something like a rape. You learn to live with it. Jesus. Okay, and then he says, your first priority in the wake of your assault had to be your own physical and emotional safety, of course. Of course, that was 6 months, okay? But your behavior towards your husband is both cruel and selfish. So, not wanting to have sex with your husband because he triggers you into an emotional breakdown because it reminds you of your rape. Oh, that's cruel and selfish. Not him fucking demanding that you have sex with him because he's jealous. They're in an open fucking relationship. Why can't he go have sex with someone else? Which he probably is doing, but for some reason he feels the need to manipulate her and trigger her for his own well-being. Dan Savage continues, if you truly love your husband and value your marriage, PTSD, you would put your boyfriend on hold and have gotten your ass into therapy without having to be told. He doesn't know if she's in therapy or not, and that's a real dickhead thing to say. It looks to me like you want out of this marriage, but instead of taking responsibility for wanting out, you're playing the victim card, because she's not a victim of being raped, and it's not a victim of her husband trying to manipulate her into doing things she doesn't want to do and guilting her, while slamming both hands down on your marriage self-destruct button. Yes, because it's all her fault that she was raped and that there's problems in the marriage. Apparently, the husband has um, he has no responsibility of how he's treating her or how best to deal with this situation. Maybe he needs some fucking therapy, but no, she needs to get her ass in therapy. So yeah, a bunch of us took issue with it, and one of my friends went over to Dan Savage's YouTube page and left a comment. Keep up your insensitivity towards rape victims, as illustrated by your 102110 column, white male privileged scumbag. And so the user LatumWay, which I'm really kind of surprised that he even saw this, came over to my friend's page and wrote this. As per your comment on Dan Savage's channel, first of all, he's right. He may have been heavy-handed, but he's right. Secondly, what does him being white male and apparently privileged have anything to do with what he said? So I went to Latum's page and I left this comment. Your assessment of Dan Savage's comments to the woman who had been raped are way off. Telling a rape victim to basically get over it and put their husband's cock before their own trauma is, I don't know, really fucked up advice? Just saying. And he came to my channel and left this comment. She's got to give it over it at some point. That or live in the trauma for the rest of her life. And despite how awful it must be going through that, it doesn't instantly make you the only person who matters in your family and friends. Yes, his words were harsh, and I probably wouldn't have worded it right like that. But he is right. No doubt about it. Oh, no doubt about it. Dan Savage is right. No, that's fucking bullshit. He's not right. He is a sexist, white privileged motherfucker. That's what Dan Savage is. And, I'm just going to read from this blog that pretty much sums up the article. Rape is one of the most dehumanizing things that could happen to someone, but somehow her not wanting to fuck her husband makes her inhuman. And then she writes, did you know that it's cruel and selfish to not want to have sex with someone? The moment you get married, your body belongs to your husband, and you have no real right denying him sex. Where is he supposed to go for pussy? Will the suffering of men never come to an end? She has further multiplied her sins by ignoring her inability to fix it all. If she would just take her ass to counseling. We will just forget that the whole thing is a process and that it takes time to work up the strength to directly confront a trauma like rape. Why is this all about the husband's needs and not her own, when she was the one that was assaulted? Why is she the one who has to prove her love, but her husband's feelings are natural and right? Nope, no sexism there. Obviously, there is something about her husband that she finds triggering. It is not uncommon for rape survivors to have difficulty articulating what they find upsetting or even why. What triggers a rape survivor can change from day to day, and the way to really help is to give that person what they need. In her case, it obviously means space and understanding, but even at their most vulnerable times, women are expected to cater to men. To make sure that this woman understands her role is to put aside whatever conflict she is feeling. She's talking about Dan Savage here, ends by calling her a total shit. Yep, that's right, a total shit. It sort of gives a new spin on the word savage love, doesn't it? Reading Savage advice once again affirms many of the negative attributes I believe to be true about Savage. He is not a liberal social justice fighter. He is simply a fatphobic, racist, detestable, transphobic misogynist, and that has simply managed to garner a large readership. When we consider that an immense part of the mainstream media exists to reaffirm many negative isms that have become socially normalized, I suppose one could say he is doing a good job. So yeah, Dan Savage is basically using sexism to guilt this woman into staying in her role instead of going and getting the help that she needs or doing what she needs in order to recover from the trauma she experienced. But no, apparently a ring, a piece of paper, a title like husband, having a cock means that that to me is the true get out of jail fucking free card right there. And what I mean by that is this man never has to put his feelings second to anyone. This man isn't expected to go through a trauma and not deal with it. And this man isn't expected to just shut the fuck up and open her legs and do whatever her husband wants because his feelings are hurt. That's male privilege, is pretty much getting to do whatever the fuck you want without having to think about it. Because when a man looks in the mirror, he sees a person, and when a woman looks in the mirror, she sees a fucking woman. And that privilege that fucking Dan Savage has of being a white male is that he can sit back and tell people what he thinks, and people take it as authority. And he will never experience trauma the way a woman will experience trauma, the way a woman's body is used, the way a partner would rape a woman. So this is why I think his advice was not only bullshit, but damaging and completely misogynistic and sexist. And people who think that that he was right, maybe a little heavy-handed, I think that they need to consider the woman's perspective of how it would feel to be used by someone who you trusted and completely victimized.